Cinema has their limitation. There are a lot of things for a film, particularly, which is releasing only in theaters. But when it comes to a digital, maybe a short film also can be a viral and can be watched by lakhs and lakhs of people, which normally we don't get in theater. Wonderful initiative, Dish TV, Watcho, and I think that they are catering for the younger directors, writers. I think for the actors, it's a wonderful because there are a lot of platforms, but they also select their own way. But this is going to be a wonderful initiative, and they were talking about the script, especially for the newcomers. So in fact, I was supposed to fly down to Bombay, but I just wanted to be with it because I think this is a great initiative to have them to get a platform where people can come and share their content, especially for the newcomers. They have great content. They have their great mind now. I think that's a great thing in future, and we have to cater for the next generation. I think that's a great initiative. Yeah, আমি তো always বলতে থাকি there are huge scope now because it's not only Bangla, it's been like in India, a lot of great work is happening, and because of digital লোকে একটা জিনিস ভালো কিছু ফেসবুকে দেখলে ওটা ভাইরাল হয়ে যায়. So I think this is a great opportunity. If you do a right thing, good thing, people will will know about it, and I'm sure people are going to take you as a director or as a writer or as an actor. So I think this is a great time because yeah, volume has increased, right? So cinema has their limitation. There are a lot of things for a film, particularly, which is releasing only in theaters. But when it comes to a digital, maybe a short film also can be a viral and can be watched by lakhs and lakhs of people, which normally we don't get in theater. So I think this is a great time to do great content. Only my thing is that you have a lot of lanes now. Because আগে কি হতো একটাই বড় স্ক্রিন which is cinema, but now you have a highway, subway, side একটা lane, so you have to choose your lane and you have to choose your right target. So I think it's a great time. You have given me so much of love for last 40 years, and এই বছরেও আমার অযোগ্য is like one of the biggest hits. So I think হ্যাঁ আমরা time has changed. The entire cinema distribution, the marketing pattern has changed. But with blessings, I have a lot of jubilees. In my first film, Amar Shungi, was a 75 weeks, which was a platinum jubilee. So after that, audience had given me the jubilee. I have not given the jubilee. আমি যদি দেখি যে ওয়াচো ইজ বিকজ আমার বাংলায় ইফ আই এম নট মিস্টেকেন আমারই একমাত্র ছবি প্রথম যেটা আমি জি5 এনেছিলাম নিরন্তর, অ্যান্ড ইট ওয়াজ কমপ্লিটলি অ্যাপ্রিসিয়েটেড বিকজ অগেইন ওটা প্রথম ডিরেক্টর, ফার্স্ট টাইম ডিরেক্টর ছিল এবং ছবিটা নিয়ে প্রচুর হই হুল্লোড় হয়েছিল. সো আই থিঙ্ক ইফ ইউ হ্যাভ টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড দিস সিনেমাটার অডিয়েন্স কি. So yeah, we know when I do a Kaka Babu, it's for the bigger screen. When I do a Sheshpata আমার মনে হয় প্ল্যাটফর্মে প্রায় 6 মাসের বেশি নাম্বার ওয়ানে ছিল. বাট you see people are ready to watch something different. So আমার মনে হয় if this platform really works, why not? I don't see no, because I really love to do experiments.
Thank you, everyone. I'm just so excited and so grateful for this opportunity to be talking to Bumbada. Thank you so much, Bumbada.
Well, good evening. I'm really happy. Maybe we are running a bit late, but yes, I'm very happy for this initiative and to be part of this. And I'm a little nervous. We all are here. So yeah, so I'm so happy to be part of this session, and it's a wonderful initiative. Honestly speaking, I was supposed to leave for Bombay in the morning flight. As Shamrat spoke to me, and it's a wonderful initiative. I'm going the late evening flight. So thank you so much for calling me and to be part of this session. I don't know how much I will be able to add because we are all newcomers. For me, facing camera is just giving my first shot in my life. It's been always. So I'm a bit nervous and sitting with a iconic person. I mean, she had done a lot of fantastic work, not only in Bangla, I would say nationally. We really feel proud of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. But I actually want to start this session with a question that I usually ask superstars. And the question is that, do you have a process to your craft? And most people cannot answer this question, so I'm hoping for the best today.
Tony, give me the answer. You have done a film with me. So, number one, I don't think so I'm a superstar. I'm part of the industry. I'm a worker, a film worker, because I personally, very honestly believe that cinema can be only made when entire team, like the technicians, to the camera department, to edit, to the story, to the script, the actors, only the basic things that people do see us on the big screen. So people will give a lot of name with a lot of adjectives. I always believe that I'm a worker from Indian cinema. If you ask me about the character, there was a time when I started my career, I used to do, honestly, 6 shifts a day. It was like my regular 3 shifts, around 22, 18, 19, 26 releases a year. I think it's a record. I'll not say nationally, it's an international record. But that was a time when I used to do everything accordingly. I know that these are the things which my audience want from me. So that was the area. But from last from last 14, 15 years, the character which I started working on, which is a little different, which is more human, which is relatable. So when I started doing that kind of a character, when I normally get a character like maybe a Lalun Phokir, or maybe a Jatisha, or a lot of characters are brilliant characters. Even when I do a Subhash Bose, I try to live with it. That's number one. And I always want from my director is sitting here that there are few things which come to the script, which as a character, that this is written in the script, But I normally ask them that tell me the backstory of this character. Let's make a story of this character which is maybe not there in the film, but that makes me easier to get into the character. And then of course I try to find out somebody if I know. I really couldn't find out somebody for my Jatisha because that was too like a very different kind of a character which I played. But otherwise I try to find out somebody whom I can take as a model. And then I try to do my best with a lot of sincerity. That's it. Nothing more than that. I think end of the day, which is most important is I'm a director's actor. It's been always told by all my directors. I'm a student. When I do films with the new generation, you have to understand that I started my career with the directors like Tapan Sinha, Tarun Majumdar. Those are the legion directors, but I'm so blessed that I'm working with today's brilliant directors who are doing in Bangla, nationally also. I had an opportunity to work with Vikram, which was my debut in Jubilee. So for me, working with Srijit or Tony or Kaushik, of course, Kobe haven't casted me yet. I will prove him that I'm not a bad actor. So yeah, so Prosun is an excellent, brilliant director. So I normally what I do when I see new directors are doing fantastic job, I start begging them.
Work?
Not for work, for a character.
For a character?
Yeah. I really tell them that give me something which people had not seen, because in the last 348, 49 films, I have given everything, but there are something which maybe I'm missing. So my everyday job, believe me, honestly, I'm telling you, since morning, I just look for something like Sheshpata sometime, maybe sometime, whatever. All my films are great. So maybe something like Jeshto Putro. Because you see, I have done a superstar in autograph. People had seen it. when again after a certain time, after around 12, 14 years, I'm back on screen again as a superstar. But I have to be an actor to make audience forget that autograph Varun Chatterjee and make believe that this superstar is Jeshtu Putra superstar. So what I'm trying to say that in end of the day, I think the emotion of an actor and the craftsmanship of the director has to gel. That's most important. My directors, whomever I work, I always say it's more than my wife. Because at 3 o'clock also I will call them and say, "Is in touch ke hoche, but I think we can do it better tomorrow." So I think this is a relation with the actor and director. Then only that, I'll say, a magic comes out. And I'm blessed to work with this finest directors of our country, I would say, rather.
You know, I asked the superstar question because it's very important that, you know, someone of your league and stature puts their might behind young voices. And a lot of times we've seen in lots of cinema across the world that they don't want to take that punt on young people. It's a fact. How do you find that courage to take the punt on first-time filmmakers? Because you work with lots of them.
I believe there are a lot of young directors here today, directors, actors and writers. I believe so. So I just want to share a very small story about a person whom we look upon. I'll just tell a small story, then your answer will be given. Like two things which I really want to say that normally when I'm in Bombay or even I'm in Calcutta, whenever my new film comes, I share my trailer to take blessings, not for PR. Personally, I really have a lot of respect towards Prosenjit Chatterjee, who was my everything, I will say, and Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. So normally I do it, it's my practice, and he gets back to me, or he blessed me, or he sends me a message, or he tweets, whatever. So during Zulfikar, I was in Bombay, so I've asked him to give me 2 minutes. I just wanted to show him the trailer. And my director Prosenjit Chatterjee, as you all know, Tony, he was in Bombay that time, so he told me that, Bhumada, I want to be with you. So I took him with me. And he's a new director, new age director. So Mr. Bachchan just had seen the trailer. After watching the trailer, he looked at Srijit and told, "Srijit Mukherjee, I am Amitabh Bachchan, I know how to act. Can you write something good with me?" So this is the hunger of an actor. So for me, it's the most important thing. Yeah, there are directors who had worked around 50 films with me. Director like Shapam Shah or Mr. Harona Chakravarti. They have done 30, 35. But I also need to get a director who will make me feel, and my audience, this man we have not seen, or this actor we have not seen. Somebody new will come and give me that challenge. And I think that has really given me a way to move forward. I'll say not stuck into one particular genre, which is very safe. I have done it. I have done 30, 35 years, and I respect that. But as a human being, as a creative person, in one certain point of time, I understood that I should do something different because cinema language is changing. So I had no other option to choose the new, fresh mind directors. Even when Srijit was doing my autograph, it was his first film. Nobody knew that he's going to. First was autograph, second was Baishu Sam. So this two film has created a huge. I will say it's not a successful film. New audience has started coming to the theater. So I think that is a kind of a risk. Everything has a risk, but this kind of a risk, I think the people like us, we would love to take. And honestly, I have been taking it. Normally, I do it because even I produce a film. I really want to tell you that I have a production house, but my production house doesn't produce a film with the star cast Prosenjit Chatterjee. It always produces a film where the newcomer, first time director, or my main actors are first time. Otherwise, I don't produce a film. I've never produced a film for myself because till now, till I don't get a check signing amount, I don't feel that I'm working. So I need to see my value in the market. Till my end, I should see that this is my value in the market. So that's the way I had taken my career.
But you know, there's a dichotomy here because superstar films, huh? না বাট ইউ নো সুপারস্টার ফিল্মসের কেন দরকার আছে কেন কি ওটা ওর থেকে যা পয়সা আসবে ইজ হোয়াট গোইং টু মেক দ্য মার্কেট ওয়ার্ক রাইট দ্যাট মেক্স রিস্ক টেকিং টুয়াইস হার্ডার অ্যান্ড ইয়োর হাঙ্গার দ্যাট মাচ মোর ডিফিকাল্ট হাউ ডু ইউ স্ট্রাইক দ্যাট ব্যালেন্স
Pothir Pachali was the most biggest mainstream film. I mean, the kind of box office Pothir Pachali is doing till now, none other films doesn't do. How do we basically describe which is mainstream and which is box office and what is? I mean, today if you see about Bengali film I'm talking about, there is no such hero, heroine, but the Puja release you see Bohurupi, where another great director and actor have worked in that film. He pulled the film and the film is one of the biggest crosser in Bangla cinema. So I think the time has changed. The thing is changing now. I think we need to see that we should fit into the character. Yes, box office is very important because if commercial doesn't work, the industry will not grow. But if you see the films which people are doing right now, I'll talk about Tony also. The time Tony started his first film, then second film, then the third film, there used to be very different kind of a cinema, but those films are super duper hit. So what I'm trying to say that cinema is something now it's moving on. The concept, the language of the cinema, even the audience. You have to understand. We used to only have one screen 30 years back. Now we have at least 5 to 6 screens. We have so much of option now. So, and every screen is very important. But for a director, for a particular cinema which is coming into the theatre, it's a very big challenge to get people in the theatre and to like. So there is so much of option. When we started, there was only one option: entertainment, matlab theatre or big screen cinema. But now there is so much of option. So it is a tough time for the filmmaker. But I think we need to. This is the magic of cinema. We have to always give a try. We have to give a try.
But tell me this, you know, you've worked for what, 3 decades and 300 films. What do you feel is the gap in the distribution models today? Your wisdom will kind of shed light on this. What do you think is lacking?
No, I think the system is changing with the time. The distribution, if you say there's a regular kind of a distribution, which also had changed because there used to be a time when those mainstream film when they used to get released, they used to get advances. There used to be advance to take the film and release into the theaters. So now thing has changed. It's more of a multiplex. It's more of there are single screen, but they also now I think if I'm not mistaken that they also deal the way multiplexes does. So it's like 60-40 or 50-50, whatever. So it's more transparent, but at the same time, the model has changed. But this is a kind of a very different distribution, which is a regular one for films. But you also have so much other option if you do a good cinema, or you do a good web, or there are options. Yeah, there are some options which are very big platforms. They have their own choices, they have their own. But I will try to explain it in a very different way. I'll say rather in a little easier way. That when we started our career, it used to be only one highway. That's your target. You have to go and pass this highway. But now you have options like you have a highway, you have a subway, you have a lane. Everything has its own target. I'm telling you, there are few films in Bangla, I will tell you, those films didn't work in theaters. But when it came to the particular in OTT platform or some other platform, people had watched it. End of the day, what is important is that how many people are watching it. Sometimes even in theaters, people doesn't watch when it comes to a digital platform, and suddenly you will see there are at least 20 lakhs people watching it. So we in theaters sometimes we can't reach to those 20 lakhs people. So I think for something very different, today I think it's a better time not only for Bangla, I will say nationally, to I will surely work only not only for the directors, I would say for technicians to actors from every region. It's a great time, great opportunity to come up, take as a challenge and do something great work. Because if even somebody does a small good work in Bengal, tomorrow some South Indian people will figure it out and will take you. This opportunity was not there for us. Believe me. And we always been told that we are regional industry, Bengali, Punjabi, Marathi. And I always used to say, we are language cinema, we doesn't do regional cinema. Because the end of that is all Indian cinema. So I think this is a great time for the, I'll say, for the, again, the next generation which is coming up, to do the, only the thing is that the work which we have to do is something very unique. Then this is a very, very great time because there's so much of platform and distribution also. Suppose today, even if you post something in a Facebook, but if it is good, if it is something very cerebral or it is something very entertaining, you reach out to, you don't know. So I think this is a great time for the younger generation to use it, I'll say, in a very proper way, in a very correct way. That's a very important thing for me, at least, to say that in a very positive way and get their exposure. You have to get exposure. I'm talking about Prosenjit. I just want to talk about him. He did a wonderful film, we all know Dostoji. And he took around 5 years, he had sold his, I know the kind of a struggle all their friends have done. But one fine morning I just watched the film and I said, this film should be released in a proper way. And you see the magic Dostoji had done for Bengali audience. Not only in Bangla, it's international. So I think this is a wonderful time. We all should come together, make different platforms, help each other, stand beside each other, especially for the newcomers. And I think today, your opportunities are much more, I will tell you honestly. You have to just take the right opportunity.
Tell me this, when you were in Bombay shooting Jubilee, and then of course you shot Hansel Sir's Room, what changed in you as an actor and as a cinema learner, as you call yourself?
Well, I was not very sure about Jubilee coming to me or something like that, but yeah, one fine morning I got a call from Vikram and he came and he met me in Calcutta, and when he started talking about this subject, in fact the subject I knew better than him. So because it was Himanshu Roy and so I have done a lot of homework. I'm a total film buffer, like in Tamil, Telugu, Malayali, whatever the Indian cinema has, the history I know. So this is a history of Devika Rani and Himanshu Roy. So only one thing which I liked about him, that the first thing which he told that, Dada, I've been working this, we first initially wanted to make it a cinema, but the time we started working on this particular character, Himanshu Roy, it was you in our mind, in the entire team's mind. So that gave me a very, because he's a new age director coming from Bombay, and then when he narrated and when I started working, I always used to say, I mean, entire team used to say, they all are much younger to me, that he is, like, Dada is our first bench student. Because for me, this media was new. This is a new medium where I started working. It is not cinema, it is not television even. So I took it as I started learning every day how it works, what is the audience. This audience is not cinema audience, but at the same time it's not a television audience. So I have to take a very different path. I think that's the way I've been appreciated all over India for this particular character. And I really loved working with Vikram, and of course Hansal also was a great experience to work.
But you know, the reason again I ask you this is because we have spent almost 2 years now discussing the impact of technology, the impact of AI, and what it's going to do to all of us, to my industry, to your industry. How do you see it? Because you know, again, wisdom and experience comes into play. You can see it from a third eye perspective and say, okay, this can be utilized to our advantage. How do you think we can use technology to our advantage?
Really a very difficult question, honestly speaking. In one word, if I want to really say that technology is going to be there because you can't change technology. I must say that when we started our work, it used to be only 35, shoot in a particular place. Then the technology changed, and suddenly DVD started coming. Then the Doordarshan came in front of us. Then there were a lot of channel came. Then suddenly we came to know there are home theaters coming. So every time, if you see, the challenge was with the films, because people always wanted to say that now this new technology came, cinema will die. But I'm telling you, I'm sure before pandemic, especially after pandemic, everybody was telling that cinema will die. Everybody will only watch something in a digital platform. It's not that. Cinema will have its own magic even after 100 years. It's not going to die. So, because you see, there are something which, what I believe that a filmmaker or an editor or an actor in cinema doing something today, right now, the result will come after 6 months. And that also the audience is going to give you the result. So it's so much of patience and so much of dedication is important for a cinema. Yeah, other digital platforms are also very important, and that has their own way of, But for me, if you ask about the technology is going to be there. When Gupika and Bhagavan was made, there was no technology. You even can't, close your 1 second, you can't close your eyes. You can't. So, I think whatever technology can create, they can't create the human emotions. That I'm very sure about it. That emotion only a singer can do, a director will come out, an editor will come out, an actor will come. That emotion. So emotionally, the creative people, whoever is writing, you can ask AI to give me a script, but that's not with the emotion. But once a script writer will write a script on a subject, that emotion with a director, so that emotion is very important. So technology will help us. There are a lot of things which is helping us. We used to give shot with fire, right? Today when I go to the set, Dada, green mat, Dadi action kore di. So it's so easy. But we used to always give shots with the fire, original fire. So yeah, it's helping. It's helping for makers to create a lot of things. But if you see the emotion of the film, that emotion of anything related cinema, that's going to be human, and there I think the creative people are going to be there as it's been always.
Bhupana, how do you hope to empower young voices? Except the fact that you have already said that your production house will hire young directors, young writers, first-time writers. You as an artist have always backed first-time directors. How else do you think this industry should come together to create channels to bring in more fresh voices from local? Because they keep saying that local is universal now. So what are the other ways of doing this?
I'm not really prepared for telling this, but I don't know how. But I can tell you one thing which is very important, what I personally believe, that I have my little way of thinking. I think people who are, I will tell you example of one person, it will become easier. We all have got a lot of things from the industry, from my audience. I'll tell about somebody called Shashi Kapoor, who have been doing always mainstream commercial dhamaka film, and he was a superstar in his own time. But whenever he wanted to produce a film, he did very different kind of a cinema. So I think the people around our country, the people are very successful, and that's happening also. If they can come out, ki, okay, this is what I've got. Let's take out a percentage, and let's try out with some fresh mind, fresh people. I think that only can change, because for anything you need to have, like in a family also, you need to have a guardian. So if everybody from different states start doing it, which NT1 New Theatres one used to do, that they used to really take newcomers, make them sit for years, and then they used to launch them. Even Mohanayak Uttam Kumar or people like, they were launched after a certain time, but they used to be groomed. So I'm talking only actors. It's same with the directors or writers or other technicians also, that somebody should come out with all the successful people, because they know also that you're talking about distribution, right? They also know the channel. This film can be, channelized in this way or distributed in this way. I think that's the only way. If and it's happening. I know there are a lot of big actors from South, from Bombay. Amit does it regularly. So they are doing it. They are trying to get into and work out with some fresh mind, fresh director, fresh subjects also.
But I always believe that once you fumble and fall, you learn the biggest lessons. It happens with everybody. Tell me that one lesson that you learned on a film, maybe a production or an acting venture, where you fell and you got up and you learned the biggest lesson that you could have learned in this industry.
40 years, it's not a joke. And so, I mean, it's been many. Because I personally believe failure only makes you perfect. And I always tell to my, especially for my actors, I will say, my next generation, please don't wear success. You have to forget the success. Within 7 days, 10 days, 15 days, 1 month max. But try to wear a failure. Try to be with it. Try to get into it. Why did this fail? So if you see lot of films which I thought it's going to be like biggest film of something, it just miserably failed. Then I started being with that film. I started operating the film basically. I did my operation with that film. Then I learned something from that, and I wanted to give it to my next project. There was a time, honestly speaking, yes, I always had a very, I'll say, reasonably good time, but there was a rough time also. There was a very important magazine, newspaper, where they wrote about the actors list. So my name was not there in 1 to 10. There was a number, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my name was not there. But within 5 years, number 1 was my name, number 2 was my name, number 3 was my name, number 4 me with somebody, numbers 5, 6 with some heroine. So what I learned is, but I was not sitting that time. I started doing a film with Buddhadev Das Gupta, which took me to Toronto Film Festival. I started doing film with Papaditto, The Houseful. People will remember that. I started doing a film like Clark. So I started also exploring the different kind of cinema. I'm a person, I will not sit. So if I am failing or if I am not working or even my film doesn't work, I do something to learn something new. And I have learned it. And that's the reason I think I can work with the new directors, because they have taught me a lot. Ritu, Buddha, Gautam Da, whoever, these stalwarts. So I went on doing films. Like Buddha used to say, I can't give you money, you're a superstar. I just can't give you money of a kamcha. You know what is kamcha? But we did it, and we all got some kind of a different kind of a success in a different way.
Do you like money?
Everybody likes money.
No, because as an artist, how much do you like money? Like, it's a very valid question to ask.
I think যদি বুমবাদার ফ্যান এখানে কেউ থাকে সবাই জানে মধ্যবিত্ত বাঙালি, আই এম হ্যাপি উইথ ইট। আই অলওয়েজ সে আমার যেটুকু প্রয়োজন সেটা হলে আই এম হ্যাপি, so that I can say no to the bad film. The film which I don't want to do, I can say no. I tell it to my son also. This is what is needed. You have to have a lifestyle, you have some commitment. But otherwise, I could have really shifted myself from Bengal to Bombay maybe 25 years back. You know that. So, I'm happy. Reasonably good. I should be happy. I should see my son. You can ask 10,000 rupees to buy something, that's okay. But not 10 lakhs. No.
No. So, you know, the reason, again, that I asked you the question about money is because money is very important to run the movie business in that sense. How many films a year do you do for your heart, and how many films do you do for a paycheck? Any more? Of
No,
course,
let me
today.
not the film now. I am doing. Yeah, of course, I get paid for that. But it's not that my young manager, they all are standing here. If I hear a script and if I tell them that more I'm doing this film, they understand that this is Dada is saying because he will do this film. Their money never came to me, like it was never there. There are some films which I want to do and I tell that, yeah, if this has been paid, I will do it. Because that I know. So that is a calculation. But I'll tell you something very honestly, that in my entire career, when I used to do absolutely mainstream cinema, this man knows about him. Bapaditto, when he came to me, they are little younger to Bappa. Bappa left us. He's a wonderful director. In fact, I was just talking to Otonu a few days back that we Bengal create a very different kind of a cinema, which is our strength. Are we losing it? I honestly try sometime to come out from my regular thing and do or support that kind of a cinema. So there are brilliant directors, and when they come, I know this, they doesn't have a budget. The time I was doing Shushubari Jindabad or Protibad, I did my houseful. That was not for money. Or maybe when I did a clerk, that was not for money. I had a lot of work that time, but I wanted to, you see, end of the day, one day I understood, one day my son told, he was too young, that after my Lalong Fokir, my Monen Manush was released, Ma, Babar Holesh samne bishal line poreche. Because wo bechara ne dekha hi nahi कि मेरे सामने बस मेरा पिक्चर रिलीज मतलब वो टिकट का काउंटर वगैरह से तोड़ता था पहले, you know, that was very normal. But then I understood I should do some work when my son will be around 20, 22, 23. You should say, my father had done this, my father had also done this. So I am answerable to my son also, right? That he also did some work. And one day I told Ritu, that Ritu, people in Bengal or people in India, people know me. I want to do something where I will create my own brand in international, through international circuit. One day I still remember some film was there. So Ritu called me and said, "Arey, everybody is taking your name." Because I started choosing that kind of a cinema also. It is, so end of the day, yeah, money is important. But I never thought that if I will do this film, আমার সামনে বসে আছে আমার ডিরেক্টর, did I bargain with you? Never? Right. So করছি. My point is doing this. Okay, করছি. Talk. Let's talk about the cinema. So that's the way I handled it. Now people can say it's a manipulation. It's manipulation. Okay, fine. 40 years manipulation is okay.
Well, I'm going to throw the, throw Bubada up to the crowd now. Guys, please ask questions. I know a lot of people here are dying to ask questions.
I'm all good. Okay, so quickly just raise your hands. We do have volunteers here. They'll come with the
I
question.
just want to share one thing because she told me about money.
Yes.
I just want to share one thing, one small incident. When I used to do a lot of mainstream cinema, because it's for the younger people more. So all my films are like, all my films are, honestly speaking, with my mother's blessing, like Silver Jubilee, Golden Jubilee, Platinum Jubilee, Silver Jubilee, Golden Jubilee, Platinum Jubilee. So one day I decided I should increase my remuneration. So that time all my directors like Shopon Shah, Haronath Chakraborty, Prabhat Rai, all the leading producers and directors, I called them, I made them sit, and I asked them that if I increase my this amount to this amount, will it be a pressure for you to produce film with me? Or, so I still remember Shopanda said, I to complete my film in 20 days, so my remuneration will be little less, Horoda and all takes you 40 days, they should pay you this much. So that is my way of handling my producers, because I always believe that if my producer gets back his money, then only he will produce, whether it is with me or whether with somebody else, it is going to come back to my industry.